If you want to shrink your video files without wrecking quality, or you want a clean archival export that keeps detail as well as possible, this HandBrake X265 settings guide is for you. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the best HandBrake settings for H.265X265, show you exactly where to find each option, and explain when to use software encoding versus hardware acceleration. By the end, you'll know how to balance quality, file size, and encoding speed like a pro. And if this video helps you out, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more simple software tutorials just like this. Alright, let's jump in. First, open HandBrake and load the video you want to encode. You can do that by dragging your file into the main window or using the open source button. Once your video is loaded, you'll see all the main encoding settings on the summary, video, and other tabs. The most important part for this tutorial is the video tab because that's where we set the encoder, frame rate, and quality. Let's start with the video encoder. In the video encoder dropdown, choose H.265, also labeled X265. This is the software-based encoder that gives you excellent compression efficiency. In simple terms, X265 is usually the better choice when you care about keeping the highest possible quality while reducing file size. It works through your CPU, so it may take longer, but that extra time is often worth it if you want a smaller file and better long-term results. Next, look at the frame rate settings. Set frame rate to same as source. This keeps your video matching the original frame rate so you don't accidentally introduce motion issues or unnecessary changes. Then choose peak frame rate for stability. This helps keep the encode consistent and is a safe option for most videos. If you're working with standard footage, this is usually the most reliable choice. Now let's move to the encoder preset. HandBrake gives you options like very fast, fast, medium, slow, slow, and slower. For X265, the preset matters a lot. If you have time, choose slow or slower. Why? Because X265 handles detail much better at slower speeds. The slower the preset, the more analysis the encoder can do, which usually leads to better compression and better visual quality for the same file size. If you're encoding something important, like an archive, a master copy, or high-value footage, I'd lean towards slow or slower whenever possible. If you're in a rush, you can still use a faster preset, but remember that faster encoding usually means larger files or slightly reduced efficiency. So the trade-off is simple: slower preset, better compression; faster preset, quicker export. For most people who are trying to save space without losing quality, slow is a very strong starting point. Now let's talk about constant quality, or RF. This is one of the most important settings in HandBrake because it controls the balance between quality and file size. The lower the RF number, the higher the quality. The higher the RF number, the smaller the file, but the more quality you may lose. For 4K video, a good RF range is 22 to 28. If you want better quality, stay closer to 22. If your goal is smaller files and you can tolerate a little more compression, move toward the higher end of that range. For 1080p video, a strong range is 20 to 24. Again, lower numbers mean higher quality, and higher numbers mean more compression. If you're not sure where to start, a good general starting point for 1080p is around 22. Then adjust from there based on the content. The best way to think about RF is this: don't just chase the smallest number or the smallest file. Choose a value that matches the type of video you're encoding. A fast-paced action video, a detailed game recording, or anything with lots of texture may need a lower RF setting to hold up well. A talking head video or a simpler scene may compress more easily, so you can often go a little higher without noticing much difference. Now let's cover hardware acceleration, because this is where many people get confused. X265 is software-based, which means it uses your CPU. H.265 NVENC is hardware-based, which means it uses your GPU. These are not the same thing, and they are not meant for the exact same goal. If you want the smallest file sizes and the highest archival quality, use X265 software encoding. It is usually the best option when quality matters most and you're okay with a longer encode time. On the other hand, if you need the job finished quickly and you can tolerate slightly larger files, H.265 NVENC is a good option. NVENC is fast because it offloads the work to your graphics card, but in most cases, it won't compress quite as efficiently as X265 software encoding. So here's the simple rule: choose X265 if quality and file size are your top priorities. Choose H.265 NVENC if speed is your top priority. If you're encoding a huge batch overnight or making long-term storage copies, X265 is usually the smarter choice. If you just need a quick export and you don't mind a bit more file size, NVENC can save a lot of time. Once your settings are in place, you can review the rest of the HandBrake options like audio, subtitles, and destination file name, then choose where you want the finished file saved. After that, just click Start Encode and let HandBrake do its thing. Depending on your preset and your computer, X265 may take a while, so don't be surprised if the encode speed is slower than other options. That's normal, and it's part of the trade-off for getting better compression. A quick recap, use H.265 times at 265 in the video encoder field, set framerate to same as source and peak framerate, choose slow or slower if you have the time, and use RF22 to 28 for 4K, or RF20 to 24 for 1080p. Then remember the big decision, X265 software encoding for the smallest files and best archival quality, or H.265 NVENC for faster exports with slightly larger files. If this HandBrake X265 settings guide helped you, please like the video and subscribe for more tutorials. It really helps the channel grow, and it lets you know when I post more simple guides like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.